Okay, so we got the BMW in the garage. Driving it around, the brakes gave out. I don't really know why. It was sitting at a street light, and you could start to feel the pedal just kind of sinking. And then, going to the next light, pedal just sinks. It stops, but there's no pressure anymore in the pedal. So we're gonna, start looking through the fluid, make sure that's all good, and then check our lines. I don't know if it's just the smoke in the air from like the wildfires or whatnot, but it definitely smelled. I definitely smelled something while I was driving. So we'll try to see if that was part of the brakes or if that really was just part of the wildfires. Let's test it out. Fluid. So a few pumps later, and it definitely loses some oomph to it, but still not as bad as driving. And so a couple Clorox wipes clean most of the junk off of the brake fluid reservoir. Clearly it's been yellowed. It's probably the original one from 1987, but I got my handy dandy Harbor Freight light. Helps me see a little bit better down into it. You can see, let's see, this darkness down here is the fluid level, so it definitely is probably below the top of the minimum arrow. You shake it, you can see the fluid move a little bit better. So I don't know if it's just been a slow leak over time or if it all just leaked recently. So luckily, for some concerning reason, maybe I have the brake fluid we need. So we'll go ahead, add some, and then I still want to get the car in the air and just check to see if maybe there is a visible leak or visible blown out line or something like that underneath the car. Look at that, brand new. Okay, call me crazy, but I feel like when I was pumping the brake pretty hard, I could hear something. Okay, question is, I don't think it's much of a question anymore. What is that? It definitely looks like more than what I spilled. And guess what runs through here? We'll put you there. We'll get in and pump. Ooh, that's a leak. Gosh, dang it. I guess first step would be to clean it up, right? We don't want to messy up our new garage. Man. Funny. Hey, at least a jack on garage floor. A jack on garage floor is not as loud as on gravel or parking lot, broken up parking lot. So that's a positive, right? Maybe a quick beer break. Gotta get a beer fridge out here. Look, right under here. Wouldn't have to go far. So here's my puddle. That's the spill puddle from when I poured. Look at this rust. There might be a hole all the way through it. Oh my goodness. Look, Firestone did this. Actually, that's a funny story. 2015, the rear brakes blew out at the T section because they were super rusty. And I took it to Firestone to see if they could fix it. They said it's too rusty, it's too old, they won't touch it. but they did make sure to put it on their lift it up at the wrong spot and crush that entire section. It was nice before until Firestone got into it. Like I said, I did replace one section of brake line, and roll over, you can see this is the connection that I put in. So from this section back is line that I added. You can't really see it, but there's the cut. So this is the old line that we just left in because it, you know, it goes up and over the gas tank, or it goes, yeah, actually I don't even really know where it routes, but it was too hard to get out, so we just left it, and it was in all of these tucked in areas. But it's this line that I guess follows. These should be fuel lines, and these three run up, and at one point basically right on the inside of the jack, we'll call it medial, the medial side of the jack, it gets like super crunched up into the body, and it looks so rusty, so I would imagine that's where it's pumping fluids out of. Definitely worse condition under there than I thought it would be. Tough. I think at this point it'll be getting it back on the ground, cleaning up the spill more, and you can see that we're back down to below the minimum line. So everything I just added, we pumped right back out. So it seems like while we figure out the brake situation, might be a little while before I really drive this thing. So I suppose in the meantime we'll talk about what I'll do. I guess I can visually make it look better. A couple things I want to do. Definitely come through here and clean up all of this extra junk. There is no windshield washer fluid, so I can remove some extra things again. The rest of the AC system's not in it, so I can go ahead and remove that. I should have an extra valve cover somewhere. I would like to get one painted black with the fins polished off. We could probably paint the Euro bumper trim to be black again. Get the front valence paint matched. We have a M-Tech one wing from an E28, so the 5 series. I tried to do the body work on it, but it might be hard to see on here, but maybe that section. It's not great. So maybe we'll finish that up, get that on the car. These side trims were plasti dipped, I think, in 2014, so maybe take them off and actually refinish those with a black paint this time, like we talked about in the previous video. Finish getting this, and I guess I can try to bring this trim back while I'm at it. The tails are okay, but we'll, you know, drill the trunk for the M-Tech wing, and that's about mostly it. I don't know if I ever want to go through the process of getting this trim off to shadow line black that. Maybe the window trim. This was, again, plasti dipped, probably 2014. Never did the rear, or maybe I did. Yeah, look at that. I did. Neither side looks great. So we'll go through and just try to get all the trim looking good again. You know, if it's going to be sitting for a little bit while we figure out the brakes and maybe the fueling system that looks a little rusty, might as well try to get it to look nice.